welcome to the vlog. Welcome to Ireland where it is wet. Let's see what we can do with some time lapses on the Sony ZV-1. Let's get time lapse done. We're going to talk you through the setup in a minute, show you how to do it on the Sony ZV-1 and how easy it is and how automated the whole thing is. You just press record and don't worry about a thing. Typical Ireland. Rain, misery, light, 19, rain in the lens, rain in the Sony ZV-1. Anyway, let's go to somewhere there's drier weather and where we're in a better opportunity of getting dry time lapses. Let's get into the settings for the Sony ZV-1 time lapses. This is really easy, and by the way, there's a couple of steps here. They're really simple, but I'm going to show you a shortcut that you're going to be able to memorize all of these, and you can just select time lapse mode like that at the click of a button. But before we get to that, let's get into the time lapse settings and let's get into the interval shooting. This is really easy. So first, let's get the camera on. We want to be in the menu mode, and keep in mind as well, if you press function, the FN key, that's going to go from menu section to menu section, which is a great shortcut, by the way. Right, what we want to be in is we want to be in the first one, which is quality image size 1, so number 1 on the top left. We want to go down here and we want to scroll along to number 3. So here we have interval shoot function. This needs to be turned on. So a couple of options here. Shooting start time, so this is 2 seconds. I've got this set to. If you press the trash can, by the way, it'll tell you exactly what it's going to do. So what this is going to do, it's once you press the shutter button, you can run away. And it's only going to start after 2 seconds or whatever you set here. So to change this, get in there, 2 seconds, 3 seconds, whatever you want to do. Then the shooting interval is the next option that you're going to look at changing. Now, every time the camera takes a photograph, it's going to wait X amount of seconds. And in this case, it's going to be 5 seconds or 4 seconds or whatever you want. Next up is the number of shots. This option basically is how many shots that you're going to take, right? Or the camera's going to take. So you can change this to whatever you want. And keep in mind, the longer, the bigger the number of shots, the longer the actual time lapse is going to take to make. Plus, you'll also have a longer time lapse, if that makes sense. Finally, the next one we're going to take a look at is AE tracking sensitivity. Leave this to low. So the less the camera has to do when it comes to automatic stuff, the better. So also, you know, you got to set your white balance on what it should be set at. You also got to maybe take a look at having manual focus versus autofocus. So they're the kind of the basic settings of the time lapse. Once you've got those settings in there, select whatever photo mode you want to go to. And then we can see we've got our interval timer up here on the bottom left. So if we press the shutter button, it's going to start going. So it's waited a couple of seconds. Now it's going to take a shot, in this case, every 4 or 5 seconds. So keep in mind, once you have this set up, you can change whatever the settings are, your aperture and indeed your shutter speed, depending on what mode that you're in. Here's a really great shortcut. You don't want to be going through this menu option every single time, right? So here's a great way of doing it. Set it up the way you want. So we've got our 5-second interval timer on here. We've got our exposure and whatever else set. So press menu. What we want to do is go back to menu 1. We want to scroll along to number 4. So this is the memory recall option. Press select. And now we're in here so we can see we have memory 1, memory 2, memory 3, or M1, M2, M3, M4. So I'm going to select this to memory 3. And what this is going to do, this is going to set all of the current settings, including the interval timer, to memory 3. So I'm going to press OK, and it says registered. Now, you're out and about and you go, okay, I got to do this cool time lapse. Press the mode button, scroll down until you see MR, press that, and then you've got your memory recall options. So if we go to what we set up for the time lapse, we can see, boom, it is good to go. What do you do with all of these photographs? There's a couple of things that you can do. You can put them into Premiere as an imported image sequence, which is really easy. Just make sure you tick the image sequence box and you can drag that onto your timeline, and you can do a little bit of a color grade here with Lumetri. Alternatively, the other option that I like to use as well from time to time is you can import all of the sequence into Lightroom. You can make changes to one photograph. You can copy all of those settings to all the other photographs in the sequence so you get a consistent look, and then you import it as a sequence back into Premiere. So there's loads of options there. Time lapses are great fun. Fiddle around with the settings and find out what you will work best with. There's a video up here that I think you're going to absolutely love. I'd really appreciate it if you check it out and hit subscribe, drop me a comment, let me know how the time-lapse option in the Sony ZV-1 is for you. We'll see you in the next episode of the vlog, and until then, don't stop fighting for yourself.